So right now it is fire in the hole at STARFRONT with my S30 and my S50. Full moon, clear night, shooting the Pac-Man with both of them. We'll stack all of them together and get an awesome image. But what we are here to talk about today is this image right here. So this is the image that ZWO put out for their S30PRO contest. And I've seen a few people go through and do some processing videos. I want to do a little bit of that and also kind of give you some of my takes and everything else. So this is Chad. Welcome to the Easy Astro Images channel, and we are going to play with some photons today. Oh, by the way, I just got the shipping notification while I was shooting this video that my S30PRO is on the way. Big shout out to all of my channel members and Buy Me a Coffee subscribers. If you want to join or help the channel out, you could hit one of the links down below. So when I first saw this data, it reaffirmed my decision on why I bought the S30PRO. It's all about the 585 sensor, and the S30PRO, people are going to talk about aperture and everything else. Fine, whatever, you know, a 50, a 70 would be just fantastic, but this is a huge step. And I'm a composition guy, so I like the wide angle. It's going to live at STARFRONT and everything as well. So, you know, it's going to get the best of everything. Now, the thing that's awesome about this data, from what I can tell, is that it's 20-second exposures, 286 of them. It looks like it was shot in Alt-Az because of the way that the field rotation is. It could just be a very weird gradient. We don't know where that they took this picture at. So, you know, I don't really know. I've never ran my Seestars in Alt-Az, so I don't know if a 20-second Alt-Az shot is even possible. I doubt it, but, you know, that is what it is. So if we take a look at the data, you can see, and I'm going to assume that since this stuff is so raw, like I can tell that it's not drizzled or anything else like that at all. You know, I know Seestar data pretty well. You can still see some stacking and aberration issues and stuff like that going on out into the corners. Nothing, you know, nothing that can't be fixed with all of this stuff. I mean, it's kind of the whole idea of my channel is, you know, we're putting in 80% of, you know, we're putting in 20% of the money and the effort, and we're getting, you know, 80% of the results. And as these things get bigger and better, things will just be even better. I still think the main issue that we're going to deal with is going to be like quality control when it comes to like sub tracking and all that stuff, and of course the app, because we've learned a lot running these things constantly down at STARFRONT, and especially having two of them. So let's go ahead and process through this data. Now I'm going to do a couple things here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate it. So I think we need to do a horizontal mirror on this one and then rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, and that'll get us there. And then we will expand that out. And I'm going to do a super stretch on this so we can kind of see this weird stacking artifact and stuff that they got going on out here. And we're going to crop it and get rid of all of that. And, you know, this is the great thing. Like, we can seriously crop in on all of this stuff and still have an amazing field of view with this. And I've already processed this a couple times. I mean, it looks great. The things that I can't stand about the sensor that is currently in the Seestar, it looks like everything is just going to be totally corrected in the way that I want it to be, because it looks like it's not going to have all of the weird coloring issues and all that stuff, because the 585 is just such a cleaner sensor than what is currently in there. You know, it's a modern sensor. You can look up the statistics on it and everything else, and you'll see. Now, typically part of my workflow currently is going to be running everything through PiMagic Studio, which I highly suggest you take a look at. Going to need to make a future video just about PyMagic. I, have talked about it in a couple of videos before, really just enjoying and loving it. But since everybody doesn't have it, we're going to do this the regular way. So we've done our cropping and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just solve this for a normal plate solving here. And, you guys can get this right off of ZWO Seestar's website and Facebook page. So you can download this data yourself and do the same thing. They also have a big wide angle Milky Way shot, and you would think that processing space photos is all the same. Man, Milky Way stuff is definitely a little bit different. So we can use, I'm going to go ahead and use GrAxpert that I have pre-configured here on this. And this is set for division and like a smoothing of 1. Now we cropped everything out. The gradient isn't horrible. Pretty easy to take care of that. And you can see the gradient that was removed there if you want to. Pretty standard stuff. GrAxpert did a great job. Don't see anything really going on as far as hitting into the image. And then we're going to do a correct only on this. Actually, first thing we need to do is we need to do some color calibration. So I am going to use SETI Astro's Find My Background, even though I could easily find the background here. So we'll get that for our background neutralization and it picked that spot down there. So we'll pick our region of interest from preview. And then what we need to do is, regular Sony color sensor. That's all we need to do right here. So we don't need to worry about anything else as far as like picking the Seestar or any of that kind of stuff. So this is what we want. We can drop that right on there. And let's turn our stretch back on. Everything is linked. So there is our auto stretch. And right off the bat, everything is looking just great. And from here on, we'll go ahead and do a correct only on Blur Exterminator just to kind of clean up a little bit of those aberrations. Kind of part of my workflow and stuff now, and especially as clean as this is compared to everything else. I know you can see the noise, but it's a fairly clean image. Is we're going to go ahead and we could do a couple ways. We can do noise reduction and Blur Exterminator if you wanted to. I kind of like doing all of that stuff after the fact now, though. It just seems to kind of be a little bit better part of my workflow. But I will run some Blur Exterminator, and I'm just going to turn down the stars a little bit because the stars are nice and small already. All right, and that looks good right there. And this image pretty much is primed and ready for something like the new multi-adaptive stretch, just because of how colorful it is and everything else. And you can see just with the default settings, like how amazing it's looking already. So we don't really need to push the data or do anything else. Give it the right target background number. I like to turn down the dynamic compression a little bit. It seems like it just kind of cleans things up in here a little bit. And when it comes to color saturation, it's kind of up to you. You can boost it right off the bat if you want to, like right in the stretch. And you could pretty much call this like a done image right off of the bat, like just with the stretch and some noise reduction. But I'm going to back it down a little bit and we'll just run with that right there. And cool. So we'll stop that. And then what we'll do is just go ahead and run a little bit of noise exterminator. We don't need to like totally crank it because the noise is pretty well under controlled. So you can see now we've got just an acceptable amount of noise and stuff that is still built into there, leaving ourselves with some detail. And now we'll go ahead and just pull the stars. We're going to unscreen them because we're already stretched. And that looks good. I'm going to open up GHS on my stars just to do a little bit of saturation increase on the stars. So just a tick up on those. And now we can close that. We can take our stars and kind of park them out of the way. And now probably the next step I would use just to keep this nice and simple is the create HDR image and just kind of let it just roll the dice for us and do what needs to be done. I like to use like a layer of 5, and we can do like a luminance of like 25, a saturation of 25, and we can do a contrast of 25 as well. And that should put us in the ballpark for a nearly completed image, like right off the bat. So let's go ahead and zoom in here and see what's going on with everything in our core and all of our details and stuff. So everything looks really good. I'm going to run like one pass of Blur Exterminator on this at the end. So we'll go ahead and just lay that down so we're not overcooking the image, but you should be able to see that we definitely have a lot more details in the HDR image than we do the other one. So we'll go ahead and close our old image here. And I like the way this looks, so we can probably bring out a little bit more color and stuff with it if we want to. We can go ahead and do a range mask, and we can work on the curves a little bit. So we can just open range mask, and we'll just pull in all of the nebula and stuff, and we'll fuzz it out a little bit. Boom. And we'll go ahead and drop that on there. And I like my background brightness pretty much where it's at, so I don't think I'm going to mess with that at all. So we'll open up GHS again, and really I'm just going to work on the saturation. So we'll just kind of start pulling that up just a little bit more. I mean, it really is up to you how far you want to take it. So if we go to right there, I can, on my monitor, I can start to see some pops of red and some pops of blue. So I really like the way that that looks. Not going to push it any further. And if we want to, while we're in here, we can do just a little bit more of some curves adjustments. So we can just kind of pull up on that a little bit to just kind of give us a little bit more of the outer galaxy. And I think that looks good right there. Go ahead and cut that down. And now we can remove our mask. And that's going to be pretty close to our finished image. We're going to go into Cosmic Photons. We're going to go into Image Blend, just because I like having full control over bringing my stars back in. And right now we are set to screen. So there's our stars. We can turn the opacity down and get rid of our stars. And I like using the midtone slider here because this is what is going to give you full control. You know, it kind of works like a histogram. Do you want big, bright, beautiful poppy stars? Do you want them to be a little bit more subdued? Like that right there. There is a lot of stars inside of the image itself. And you can also work on the actual default image back here as well. So we can darken it up. We can brighten it up if we want to a little bit. You know, it's kind of up to you. Like, it's your image, how far you want to push it. I think that is pretty reasonable right there. And we'll go ahead and accept that. And we can just get rid of these here. So there is our Andromeda. Let's go ahead and blur exterminate this again, just to kind of throw in some more detail. Just drop that right on to there. And you should have a pretty good looking image when this is done. So we'll go ahead and do a little preview here and zoom in and out for you guys so you can see the before and after of the blur exterminator change. So Control Shift and Z. Very subtle on my computer. Probably helps a little bit if you zoom in. So you can see all those little pops and everything that we got. You can just see how things just kind of sharpen up inside the darkness just a little bit. And if you wanted to push the dark structures just a little bit more, you could probably go into Dark Structure Enhance, which is under Utilities, and, you know, just drop this down to like 15. You know, you don't want to really hammer it like that hard because it's going to just look really bad. So that was just like a subtle improvement. If we do before and after, you can see that it just kind of darkened that all up a little bit. Get rid of the preview, delete all, and there is our Andromeda, and everything looks great. So much better than any Andromeda that I did with my S30 or my 50. I mean, you could run more noise reduction if you want to, but everything looks good. You know, the best thing about it, of course, is that background not having any of the weird like color modeling that you get with that I would get with my other sensors and stuff. So you can still, there's stuff up there that we could still like crop out. Wouldn't have to worry about that. You can't even see it when you zoom out this far. You know, people know it's there. If you really wanted to hit it again with Noise Exterminator, we can give it one more big blast, and that's just kind of like oil paint everything probably. But Noise Exterminator still does a great job of retaining details. So you can see that, you know, we definitely reduced a lot of the noise, and, you know, it saves the details and stuff as well. And it's probably inventing a few things in there, but you can't deny that $550 telescope, that this looks great. And again, I'm sure it does not look like they took this thing to pristine skies and produced an image that was going to be super easy and stuff to work with. Even though Andromeda, you know, itself is a fairly easy image to process, the results pretty much speak for themselves. I can show you, for example, one of my own S30 Andromedas, and you know, nothing's pretty much there. We'll show you one that just came out of Pi Magic, and you can take a look at it. You know, I mean, there's your S30. Nowhere, it's just not going to have nowhere near the detail or anything else. And you know, this has had Blur Exterminator and Noise Exterminator ran on it twice. And if you look here and look at the results of the Noise Exterminator run here, just way cleaner. So I hope that you guys are excited about the S30 Pro like I am. I can't wait to get mine. I hope I get one in the first batch. I ordered it very quickly as soon as I realized that they were on sale. Kind of made the mistake and got it from ZWO themselves, and I don't think it was ZWO USA. So I don't know what's going to happen. It is what it is. Until then, it's fire in the hole right now at STARFRONT with my other ones. So we will talk to you guys later. Shout out if you got any questions. Peace.